Hello, everyone! It is Friday, and that means it is time for Paint and Slay with Lauren and V, and a very big bee.
It's so big. It's not bee. It's a wasp.
It's actually a Hellwasp. Yeah. Yes.
It is important distinction because bees are helpful to the world and the environment and are willing to run away from people. Wasps are terrors and heartful and the worst. Wasps are the worst. And this is even worse.
They are. I agree. Bees I'm totally cool with. Wasps I'm not so great with. Hell wasps are my hell no.
But we're going to paint one today anyway.
Yes. So if you're squidgy with things like wasps, by all means, you're welcome to listen lurk as opposed to watch and lurk, or however you decide to do it. We completely understand, because we know sometimes insects, like personally for me, if this were a cockroach, I'd be gone by now. But yeah, so just a little heads up, there's really no way to avoid it. You're going to be seeing a wasp body and some interesting bits and pieces of the wasp. Now, just to give you some context, this is the Hellwasp from WizKids D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures line, and this is one of the WizKids D&D Icons of the Realms hero type miniatures. And as you can see, this is a medium. This one's a large. Definitely sizable. In fact, the stinger is literally the size of the leg.
It big.
So, it big. Now, this is not the only part of this miniature, which I want you to keep in mind. This also comes with 4 lovely wings, which I have right up here.
It comes with wings!
It comes with wings! So as you can see, we're going to be painting the miniature itself, as well as these 4 wings, which you can paint separately and then place onto your Hellwasp. So you can have some fun with the transparent plastic and the traditional opaque plastic. And again, we have this, it's already mounted up on its post. That's probably my one little sticky wicket on this one that I'm not too nuts about, because normally these sometimes come off the clear plastic post, but this one's on there nice and tight. I tried to see if I could remove it, and that was a no, and I didn't want to break things. So we're gonna have to do
a bubble in my plastic post.
You have a bubble? Oh, interesting. So we're gonna have to do some interesting painting around this. But if we get any paint onto this post, fear not. All you need is rubbing alcohol at least 90%, and you can carefully remove it and still have your clear plastic when all is said and done. I just want to make sure that is mentioned so people are not worried about it. Now, before we get into all of these major details, what do we have going on this week in game, Lauren?
Oh, not much.
Not much.
Well, I'll preface everything by saying, hey, if you do have any questions about painting, if you have any questions about Idle Champions, if you have any questions about wasps, go ahead and put those in the chat so that the lovely moderator, Martin, who is here to help out, as always, is here to grab your questions and put them in our little backstage document. So when we are focused on wings, we don't lose your question. Just make sure you put question in big capital letters so that it's easy for Martin to grab. And if you do have any questions about all the different things that are going on, it might be about, Amani, the songbird familiar that's coming next week. Also Merylwyn. Yep. You know what? We'll do it in that order. So
Sorry,
Merylwyn.
It was Amani to begin with.
That's okay.
There we go.
Amani, yay. So this is our latest charity familiar who's going to be coming to the game on Wednesday. They are a familiar that is raising money for Lambert House. Like our previous familiars for charity, there will be it's usually 2 weeks in where all net proceeds, there we go, through June 21st will be donated to Lambert House, which is an amazing organization, actually right here in Seattle, that does a lot of good work for the LGBTQ community. And as this is Pride Month, it is a excellent choice. We also worked with Omega Jones, who might be known best as the Critical Bard, to create this lovely familiar. Which is like the most colorful thing on the planet, and I love it. And Omega will be joining me and Michelle from A Familiar Quest, and Brian, who you might remember from Disco the Baby Moonstone Dragon. And we're going to be, excuse me, playing, this game makes me all choked up. We're going to be playing a little D&D game on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, in where they will be playing their familiars. So if you would like to see Mugen and Disco and Amani all together in an adventure, you should come by on Wednesday. It'll be fun. So that's Amani. And then we also have Marilyn, who has their champion spotlight has just gone up today. They're our latest from the Ox Venture group and will be coming out next week during the next event, which...
Dragon Down.
Thank you. Thank you. Once again, I'm writing blogs for like months from now, and so the blog that I'm on is not the where we are. So every once in a while, my brain goes, "What is?
What are we?" I was living in October this morning. I was actually convinced. I'm like, "Why isn't Halloween in 3 weeks?" I'm like, "You need to go." I was
working on 3 different blogs for 3 different months this morning. It was like. So anyway, Marilyn, who is coming out in the game next week. You can go read all about her in our Spotlight blog. And yes, the puns are real. Is that everything? Did I get everything? That's probably the most important thing. Yeah. So there you go.
As we transition into the weekend, into a new week next week. Yay!
Yes. New week.
New week.
Anyway, bugs.
New beginnings. No, I'm going to be so bad with the bee puns. I'm not even sorry about it. Okay.
And it's not even a bee. It's a wasp.
It's a wasp. I don't care. So, if you want to take a look, this is one of the heftier minis from WizKids, and as always, the D&D Nolzur's marvelous miniatures, they do come primed ahead of time, and someone did ask me off air, isn't it Vallejo paints that is the no, it's a different primer, but they do prime them ahead of time for you, so you're good to go. And if you want the SKU, your SKU right there is 90489. So, that all being said, we're going to paint this in some interesting ways because we have not only the body to paint, we also have these 4 wings to paint. And there's going to be dry time between them. So get ready for a lot of shuffling back and forth. Okay, so this is going to be fun. I thought it'd be fun to first go with the wings though, because if you take a look at these, they actually have, and this is why I love my camera, they actually have a raised texture on one side and the other side is a little bit more smoothed out. So one side definitely has more prominent features than the other side does. So just keep that in mind. But what we are going to do is be painting both sides. You'll find one side is probably easier to paint because it's a little bit more of a raised texture. The other one will be a little bit more careful. So forewarning, as Lauren and I are, known to do, we might get quiet when getting very focused on the details. It's the the think and paint coordination, and
it's the joy of the painting streams and where we are a more relaxed stream. There might be moments of calm silence, and that's okay. Exactly. We can have a moment of zen in the middle of our painting. Exactly. Although I will, before we get completely into it, I just saw Alan Kill wanted to know, can they see a close-up of that giant D20 on your desk?
Sure.
Because it is beautiful.
It is lovely. This actually was a beautiful holiday gift from the dice company I used to work with, Serious Dice, and they sent this to me as just a nice little end of the year, hope your holidays go well type of thing, and it's honestly one of my favorites, which that's why it has snowflakes in it, because it was a holiday gift. But I think it's pretty, and I think it looks nice, and it just gives me kind of a sense of, you can see how big this thing is too.
It's huge. It's huge. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Let's just begin, and I will grab some more of those questions as we get going. But it seemed like that was a good one to get going with before everything.
So we're gonna go right into black paint. And we are going to edge the wings with all the veining detail. So I'm talking about these little, really essentially veins that you're seeing, not the striations that you're seeing in the texture. Okay.
And what about the big vein across the top?
The same thing. You're going to get that one too. So it's going to be across the top and down on these more prominent details, both sides of each wing. So we're going to start with doing that.
Okay.
We're working on the wings, and then when we have time where the wings need to dry a little bit, then we'll start working on the body.
Sounds like a plan. And this is just straight black paint.
Straight black paint. Yep.
All right. I'm probably going to want a detail brush for this.
Yes, you're going to want a detail brush. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, the one side is going to be really easy because it be veiny. The other side that it isn't raised, we're still putting the black on?
Yeah, we're still going to, because what happens is it's going to look oddly muted if you don't. So you want to make sure you get it on both sides. So we're going to be doing a lot of painted black right now, folks.
I'm always okay with this.
Yeah.
We can only sing a little bit of the song, but that is also okay.
Oh, before I paint this, I also wanted to show you, these will insert into the body so that you can just kind of, pop it in. And you'll want to super glue it when the time comes, but it's so much easier to paint these separately than trying to get all of these details while the wings are adhered onto the body.
That makes sense.
I wanted to mention. Why am I not gluing first and then painting? It would be that reason why.
Yeah, might as well wait for them to be painted and dry, and then come back a little later and do all the super gluing.
Yeah.
Because we will have enough difficulty getting around the legs. We don't need the wings as well to be a problem.
Yes, exactly.
Man, I didn't realize until just now how high off the wing these veins are actually raised.
Yep. It's a significant lift on the one side for sure. And I have my windows open if you hear a child screaming. It is not my child. Trust me, it is a child across the street.
Screaming in that joyful scream of, I am outside and playing. Ah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hear screaming on my end, that is just Luke listening to a movie. And I'm keeping the door open because I like to have airflow. So
right?
Well, my screaming is fake screaming.
Mine is real, but it's okay.
Mine is fake, but it's not okay.
I love that we put in our little caveats of like, hey, we want air.
Well, these lights are hot.
They are.
And we're getting into it's almost summer. So a little bit of airflow is a good thing. Now, as you're doing this, I'm assuming we're not it's not the thickest of lines, but it's good.
It is. You're just putting a nice layer to start showing off the color.
Okay.
And the one side, this definitely pops off more.
Oh, for sure.
See, as I'm painting it, doing the edge here. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm going to work on that edge right now and have the fun of how do I hold this thing now?
Yeah, honestly, the wings surprisingly are going to take us some time because it's an awkward handle. And I've already tried putting this into tack and seeing if the tack would hold it. The answer is a resounding no.
Yeah, they're too tall.
Narrow and tall, exactly. You can't get a good
just
grip.
wobble.
And when you're doing detail work, wobbling is bad.
Yeah, so we will just end up with
pincher.
Yeah.
So I'm holding this for a little bit and then I'll switch around.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing that at the moment. Yeah. I'm not as concerned about getting black on my hands as I am about dropping it and then smudging the paint all over the place.
Yeah.
Now, how much are you getting mostly on the top, or are you also trying to get all the way to the sides of these veins?
I am trying to get to the sides as best I can, especially on the more raised up portions. Because otherwise what'll happen is because there is this natural spacing with the thickness of the plastic. If you don't get as close to the edge of the veins as you could, you'll get sort of like this floating effect. So the veins will look like they're floating. So you want to try and get close as you can.
Yeah, I mean, if you end up with
Yeah.
floating veins on a fantastical creature, it's not the worst, but I
Right.
could see where that would look a
Yeah.
little odd.
I mean, don't make yourself buggy over it.
You've been thinking about this, haven't you?
No, that just came to mind, and I'm so proud of myself for it.
Let me grab some questions from chat. Lurking Writer wants to know, one, who decided that Hellwasps need to be in the game, and two, were to be the next paint and slay subject matter? Well, I don't know who decided. I mean, I guess the people who decided they needed to be in the game were the fine people who wrote Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus,
Yeah.
because Avernus is filled with them. So you can thank those fine people. And yeah, I mean, they're hell wasps, they're creepy, but it's Avernus. And, you know, if your party is okay with having bugs come after them, then it's actually kind of an interesting, fun fight with these monsters, I will say. As for who decided that they were going to become paint and slay creatures, that'd be us.
Hi.
Because you know what? It's a cool mini. And they're interesting, fun creatures.
Yeah.
And why not? I mean, we don't get to do clear wings that often,
No.
and it's also like, ignore the fact that it is a wasp and everybody hates wasps and wasps are evil, but especially look at the one that's in the far corner from me. They're really colorful. And D&D monsters in general are fun because they can be so colorful. But like this one, just with the reds and the oranges, it's just super cool.
Yeah,
so
it's fun.
I feel like I'm on the other side of this one wing, and I feel
Already?
like
Oh my goodness, I'm being like so tedious right now. I'm like, and then I do a little bit of that.
I might not be. I should probably be slightly more tedious, but I'm not. I'm also having a hard time focusing in. And now that I've turned it the other way, and it's the not as
surprisingly, if you paint it like I am, on the narrow or vertical, it's easier to see the details that you want to paint instead of trying to do it head on.
That makes sense, because on the raised part I wasn't having as much of a problem, but now I'm on the flat part and trying to basically trace that line.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It is. It's tricky. If you do this approach, it's a lot easier to see the details that you need to paint up when you're not looking at it flat, when you're looking at it from an angled approach. Yeah. It happens so often with these clear plastic miniatures. You'll be looking straight at it, but because of how the light's playing through, you're going to miss a whole bunch of details. But if you play it on a different angle, even if you put like something behind it, like something like a dark piece of paper, that can be a huge help.
That makes sense.
Seeing more of the details, yeah.
Is it Chris asks, is it possible for actual wasps to become hell wasps through the power of science? Well, if you're asking about real life wasps, I
hope not.
believe all wasps are hell wasps. So yes, they can. And who wants to make wasps worse? Also, that's really hard to say. Wasps worse.
Wasps.
Hell wasps. There's a lot of when you're saying that.
We're going to start calling cats at this rate.
Well, you will.
This is true. Actually, no, by default, they'll just be, because there's a closed door and they want in and they want to see mom.
Oh, yeah. So they're already outside like, hey, I can help with that wasp, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I actually had a cat who tried to help with a wasp. That did not go well. Poor little goofball. Used its paw to hit the wasp. Wasp, being a wasp, stung him.
Yep.
I have never seen such a massive paw on a little cat before.
Oh no.
Like, it just ballooned up. Now, the funny thing is I look at my polydactyl cat and his paws are basically the size of what the swollen paw was. So part of me is like, please don't ever play with a wasp because I'm afraid to see what yours are going to look like if that's the case. But yeah, it did not go well. And let me just say, giving a cat Benadryl is not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, because they don't know that, like, you're going to take this and then you're going to feel better. It's going to be okay. Your paw is going to be better. They just know this is the worst.
Yeah. And it
Cats
hurts.
and dogs.
Yeah. And this is hurting me, and now you're hurting me, and why, Mom?
Yeah. Did your cat at least kill the wasp? Was there at least a semi-victory?
No.
Oh.
Wasp got away. Rascally wasp.
Yeah, they always do. They always do.
Yep. I mean, I had one that stung me like 5 times before it flew away.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, if you get attacked by a bee, you get attacked once,
Mm-hmm.
and it sucks. But
Yeah.
like, it stings you, and then it's done. It dies or it flies off. They're not vindictive creatures.
No.
Wasps are,
Mm-hmm.
which is why you see hellwasps and not hellbees.
This is true. I
Mm-hmm.
apologize to bees when they sting me. I feel so badly.
I mean, they tend to have a reason, even if you
I
don't
know,
know that, oh
exactly.
yeah, they're, you accidentally stepped on one,
Or
or
spooked it or
they're,
something, yeah.
yeah, their nest is nearby or whatever.
Yeah.
There is usually a reason. Wasps will just sting you because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yeah. Exactly.
I feel like I'm gonna look over a chat. It's just gonna be stories of people who've been stung, and I both
Terrifying.
feel bad and also like, hey, if this is cathartic to you that you need to
Right?
tell your I've been stung
It's
story, I
our
will understand.
wasp stung support group.
Exactly. It's funny that you mentioned cockroaches earlier
Oh.
because I'm running that game tomorrow for I'm on the TTRP Gifts channel. We're doing a big fundraiser for the victims of the school shooting that happened
Mm-hmm.
in Texas. And I very intentionally have named the game The Lord of Cockroaches
I
so that everyone was very aware
that they are
of
present.
what was going to be going on in this game. And because it's not a surprise, like it happens, you find out what's going on in the first 5 minutes of the game. So I'm like, I am just gonna, that's why I'm just calling this adventure. And that way, if you need to nope out of it, I completely understand. Because yeah, I am not, like, I am wary of a lot of these creatures, but I am not ewed or squished out or upset by them. But a lot of people are. And so it's a lot easier to just put it out there, put it out front.
I mean, I have good reason for cockroaches. It's not just because they're like squishy type of things. One decided and this was when I was 5 years old, and I lived in Texas, and they call those things palmetto bugs. It doesn't make them any prettier. So I woke up at the age of 5 one Saturday morning, wondering why my hair was moving,
Mm,
and it was a cockroach.
yeah.
Oh, that did not go over well for me. I was terrified. So ever since then, I don't do well with cockroaches. Nope.
I mean that is totally fair.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have a good reason, if it's just this just creeps me out and I
Yeah.
have no reason why. I mean, for me it's jellyfish. It's not to the extent that I'd say no to it's not like a line that I draw in a D&D game.
So you're okay
But
with flumps.
flumps are adorable.
Yeah.
Flumps are wonderful, but they're not jellyfish. They are adorable flumps. And I think jellyfish in real life are gorgeous.
They are.
I will not get into any water that has them
Mm-mm.
because that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how, oh, well, but as long as you just don't swim into them or as long as you just this, no. Mm-mm. I will enjoy their beauty from afar on land where they can't touch me. No,
Yep.
no.
That's not a game of Marco Polo you want to play.
No.
Jeez, I'm just getting one side of this done.
And it's not like I have any reasonable reason to be afraid of jellyfish. I have not had an experience with jellyfish in my life. I have no concrete reason like you have. I just think they are horrifying if I'm near them.
That's fair. That is totally fair. I forgot there's a little vein right there. Almost missed that one.
Things you say when you're painting.
This is gonna be the wing session.
Mm-hmm.
We're winging it today, folks.
It's gonna be one of those days. Eknor wants to know, are we doing the black or purple version of the Wasp? Which is an interesting question because we were just talking about this beforehand. So that's the official art.
One. Yeah. Yep. I looked at the official art and also the art on the back of the mini package. That's what I'll be using. So if you want to look at the official D&D art, but Lauren and I also chatted ahead of time. And Lauren, which one are you going with?
I'm gonna go with, like I said, on the bottom, what would be your right-hand side, over near our lovely logo.
This one.
I kind of just like the flaming wings, the really bright. I am also a fan of bugs and creatures that have the brightly colored body parts as a warning that, hey, we're evil. And so I'm going to go for the red and orange wings, but the rest of the body is going to be the same.
Very cool.
So I am excited about that. Nox Angus asks, is there a wild offer event right now? I just got a 3-hour-long wild offer. I know we continue to work on our wild offers to try to make them more fun and more interesting and worthwhile to people. So I also know that the weekend buffs have started, but I don't remember which one they are because I'm also working on the newsletters and I'm ahead on the newsletters. But we had Griddle Champions today.
Shoot,
so
I can't remember which one too because I just did another proof of another week. So my brain's like, nope, not sure.
This weekend is the Tools of the Trade weekend with a toolbox chest. There is going to be powered up champions to help complete your weekend adventures. Will be Nordum, Tyrell, Ashara, Orkira, and Zorbu. So really, Orkira. You just want Orkira in your party because Orkira is even better than normal.
I thought you were going to say Norman.
Orkira is also better than Norman.
I don't know why my brain's like, she's going to say Norman. Like, that makes no sense.
Orkira is better than Norm from Cheers. Orkira is just the best, and that's why she's in a weekend event like that. So yes, that is the weekend event and the weekend chests, and the chests, as always, are adorable.
Oh, that one was so cute. Now I'm remembering it. It had like a little tool sticking out of the top.
Yep. Yeah, every time I get to see them as I'm putting the newsletters together, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get these.
They're so fun.
I want to see them.
Such fun.
Graphic Wolf says, apologies if it was said already and I missed it. Hey, no worries. Okay. This is a 2-hour stream and we are on episode 30. So people come in and out, and chances are any question that you have, especially if it's about painting or idle champions, there's someone lurking in the chat right now who wants that question asked and answered. So no apologies are necessary. Do you recommend painting all pieces before assembling minis? Does the paint cooperate better if it's painted prior? Like, do possible gaps not show? So they're asking not just specifically for the Hellwasp, but just in general.
Honestly, it is going to depend on the mini's design itself. Personally, I prefer to be able to assemble as much as possible and then go and paint. Because I just find it gives a smoother transition between the different pieces. However, there are minis, especially like this one, where having all the pieces in ahead of time and trying to paint around them will become more of a headache than it's worth, so it's easier to paint them separately. You have to keep some things in mind, though. You want to make sure, like the wells on the back here, don't get overfilled with paint because suddenly you're going to have a fit issue, which it's still fixable. It's just a pain in the butt to try and fix. Again, you're going to go back to your rubbing alcohol 90%, and this time you put it on a little bit of a toothpick, and you stick the toothpick in, you kind of swizzle stick it around in the opening, and that should open it up more if you have a cavity that needs to be opened up because paint got in there. You also have the issue sometimes where if you have too much paint on the connection point, then it can be a wobbly adhesion with a super glue because there's a layer of paint between. So there's just some things to keep in mind. So if anything, what we'll do when we do assembly for this one is we're going to take some rubbing alcohol next week and just quickly strip the post if any of these posts get some paint on it, because chances are they're going to get paint on it, and it happens. So there's some precautions you can take if you're painting everything separately. But like I said, I try and get things as put together as possible. Sometimes it's unavoidable. You can't. You have to paint them separately. And in that case, you just have to be careful of making sure you get the paint edged close enough to the connection points. And be ready if you need to kind of clean off the end bits of the connection points for anything that's sort of sticking there.
Yeah, I've been trying to get close to that connection point, but not on, because I figured that would be a problem.
Yeah.
That little nub right there.
I mean, there are times I don't care. I clean it up at the end and assembly process.
Are there any minis that you have done in where part of it you put together, but part of it you do not? Like I could imagine some of those big dragons maybe like, hey, I'm gonna put this on, but I'm not gonna put that on.
I've done that with dragons in the past. What's the other one? Oh, my Rascala one. the arm, as tempting as it was to place the shushing arm on her, I did not, because there was all this detail happening with the hair that was going to be under the arm. It just didn't make sense.
Ah.
So I waited on the assembly until after everything was painted up and then put it together. So yeah, there's definitely some minis where it's mostly assembled, but there might be an off piece because of it. And a lot of times I'm finding it happens where it's things like you said, dragon wings. Some dragon wings can just be in the way. And other creatures with wings. Also, sometimes, depending on how a weapon is being held, especially if it's not a Prue style, a Prue style miniature, depending on the angle of the weapon, sometimes those I'll hold off on, not assembling, attaching, because the weapon might just be at such an angle you can't get to the detail on the miniature itself until after you've, finished painting, and then you can put the weapon back on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially, I'd imagine it's less the huge weapons like greatswords and stuff, and more the close-up weapons, like little daggers and stuff that's going to be
swords,
yeah, close to the body
crossbows.
weapons.
Oh, don't get me started about crossbows.
Wait. Let me get you started on crossbows. Why crossbows? I'm half joking, but I'm also serious. Like, why crossbows?
The opening and the curvature and the angles you think you can get, but you can't.
Okay.
They are misleading suckers.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. You think, oh, I can totally do this with this on there. And then you're like, nope, no, I can't. And then regrets abound.
So there you go, friends.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a character with a crossbow, because when you go to paint that mini, it's going to make you angry.
Or don't give it to Vita Pink, because she'll be like, nope. I will be like, can I change it?
Yeah. Can you now wield a staff for no real reason?
Yeah. For no apparent reason.
Yeah.
My gosh, I am still on this first wing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This is
very finicky.
I am not.
Oh.
And part of it is because I just know I can only do so much of this line work without it getting outside, and part of it's like, well, I know we're gonna be doing stuff to this part of the wings, and so if I get a little bit outside, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I mean, veins are messy, right?
Yeah.
That's my excuse. Veins are messy.
That's fine. It is your mini, remember?
Oh, we've got time gate questions are coming into chat. Yeah, because it is a free time gate weekend.
It is.
So if you do ask the question in chat and it comes over to us, we will answer it. It may take a little while for us to get to it, so you may have already gotten answers from the chat. So here is the general disclaimer for those of you who are new to our show about the which should I get out of a time gate. The good news is there are no wrong answers, because in the long run, you want to unlock all of the champions. The people in chat will have a variety of suggestions for you. And what you go for may be different depending on your needs. So there's no wrong answers here. That being said, you always want Orkira. If you can't have Orkira, Little Kittens wants to know, should I get Deacon or Dinar? Already got Whittle. Deacon. I really like Deacon. First off, Story of Doom is just so much fun. And so both of them are good. Both of them are really good. The reason I like Deacon a little bit more as a support character is because one of Deacon's specializations lets you decide, hey, am I buffing people next to me, or am I buffing people am I buffing everyone in the formation, but a little bit less? And it's really nice to have that flexibility in a support character so that you don't have to be worrying about, if you just need to put them somewhere in the formation, you can pick a specialization that still is going to make them effective. Also, Story of Doom is just adorable because you get to see Deacon going, Doom! And that's just fun. And that's just super fun. That being said, Dinar is a really good support, especially if you can get him towards the front of the formation. And his acid breath is always fun to watch happen because of the way that Ryan Hartman described it, which I will not talk in detail about because it's worth just seeing it or finding a clip of Ryan Hartman describing how Dinar does his acid breath, and it's amazing. But yeah, if I had to pick one of the two, I'm gonna go with Deacon. I'm gonna go with the Story of Doom. Also kobolds.
I was gonna say plus kobold.
Plus kobolds.
Plus kobold.
Kobolds are always good. Although, Dinar is dragonborn, so,
There you go.
you could have a little bit of both. But yeah, this is why I say, like, there's no wrong answer. There's only the answer you have for right now. J-Dog asks, are you averaging 3 to 4 D&D games per week? Not recently. So I'm kind of in feast or famine mode as a D&D performer. So if we're not talking about the regular streams that I do here, if we're just talking about D&D games, I have a lot this weekend because it just so happened that a whole bunch of charity events happened and I got asked to be on them, and it's awesome. But since I haven't been on D4 because they went back to being in person, but that's wonderful. I basically have, and because Idle Champions Presents Code of the Raven Queen ended, I basically have Children of Erte on Tuesdays and my podcast, which comes out every other Monday. And then I've got a home game that gets together every other week. But that is a home game on Fridays, and I've got another home game that gets together every other week or so on Saturdays. But yeah, it is definitely one of those in where some weeks, especially when those every other weeks either get canceled or are not on that week, there are definitely some weeks in where I don't play at all. And I get antsy. Not fun. And then there are weeks like this week in where I have a bounty to select from. Although I will say technically not everything I'm playing is D&D. They're all TTRPGs, but I'm finally getting a chance to play Vampire the Masquerade as a vampire.
Nice.
Because I played an amazing vampire game. This is like a year and a half ago. I did a one-shot with Ellie Collins and Dustin Fletcher on ATL by Night. But I played a human. So I kept telling people, I'm like, it's gonna be my first vampire game, but I'm a human. I remember B-Dave going, only you would manage to play a vampire game and not be a vampire.
Yeah.
So Sunday I am in a charity vampire game and I'm actually a vampire and I am excited and I am all in. I'm all in on being a vampire. It's gonna be so much fun.
That's very cool.
And that's Vancouver by Night is doing that one.
Schmancy.
Yeah, and that is a Jasper's Game Day charity game. So I'm all filled up this next week for charity games. I have a Blessings of Riches and an angle that I'm hopefully going to be able to look at this wing at. Oh, jeez. I don't know why the smaller ones are even more difficult.
I can't speak to them yet. I just got to the second big one.
Hey, listen, take your time. Yours is probably way less. Yeah. Eknor wants to know unpainted gargantuan Tiamat when? Oh, Via's had to hear me talk about this a couple times. Well, let me ask you first, V.
Yes.
What do you feel about the unpainted gargantuan Tiamat?
She's gonna take a long time. She's gonna take a very long time. Unless we can do some sort of like fun collaborative, like everyone, we get the mini itself. And then like you and I could do things like each paint a wing.
I do one head. Yeah.
Yeah. You and I each paint a wing, and then we can get 3 other guests and we each paint a head. And then you and I would have to get together. Like I'll go out to Seattle and you and I have a weekend of painting the body.
There you go.
That's honestly the only way I can think about how we can make this work.
Yeah, I don't know if we could really do it on the show.
Yeah.
That'd be super, super hard. Yeah. However, I have thought about buying that mini expressly to then spend the next year working on it with Luke of like, hey, this weekend, we're going to do a wing.
Yeah.
Next weekend, we're going to do a head. Yep. Or the other thing that has come up was it was suggested to me, get together with some friends over a long weekend. And that becomes, instead of, spending the whole weekend playing video games or spending the whole weekend playing D&D games, you spend the whole weekend, most of the whole weekend playing, painting the Tiamat mini
Which,
and by the end of it, have a painted Tiamat.
that'd be fun. That would definitely be fun.
And then run a game and where you have to fight Tiamat.
Yeah. I mean, personally for me, I would do it if paid, and that sounds horrible, but I already have the painted miniature, and I probably will go and zhuzh that one up. But I have also painted a Tiamat of my own. Actually, she's resting back there behind me near the peonies. I have already painted a Tiamat miniature,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, it's kind of like, well, I've already done something like it as it is. So for me, it's like, been there, done that. Really not interested to paint another Tiamat.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's not horrible at all. That's like,
yeah.
and it's not just that you've done it before. It is huge. It is a
It's
giant time
it's
commitment.
it's bigger than my inseam, just for the wings.
Yep.
I'm not even talking about the body, because that
Yeah.
tail curves. That's a false measurement when they say head to tail. No, sir, that tail winds itself around.
Mm-hmm. She's not even fully stretched out.
Nope.
But yeah, for me, since that is not a project I've ever tackled,
Yeah.
and I do not have the painted version of that mini,
Yeah.
that would be super fun. But it would have to
Absolutely.
be I would either have to get it with the idea of, all right, this is a project for the next year that me and Luke are going to work on, or something like that,
Hmm.
or it is a group project with a bunch of us, because I don't
That would be
think
fun.
I could be like, I'm spending this weekend painting Tiamat. I think by the end of it, I would be a hunched over mess.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd be a fun hunched over
Yeah.
mess, and I'd be a very proud hunched over mess, but I would be a
Now, I
hunched over
mean,
mess.
I am all for painting another large size mini. Something new,
Mm-hmm.
something different. Absolutely. I'd be totally for that one. Something new.
Well, so Tiamat is, I believe, gargantuan, if I
Well,
remember correctly.
yep.
Yeah. Are there any, I mean, technically gargantuan, but any of that caliber of size? Even if it's not technically a gargantuan mini, if it's just a big, 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 are there any that you are looking at that you'd be like, oh, if this showed up at my door?
Like a Tarrasque would be amazing to do. A lot of fun to do a Tarrasque. The dragon turtle, right? What's the one that has like the massive? Right, that's the big one that's in Chult.
Yeah,
Yes.
dragon turtle.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
dragon turtle. Would love to do one of those.
The one that extorts any people who
Yes.
come by on ships and is just like, give me your
Because
wares or become food.
I have full intentions if I get my hand on a dragon turtle mini of that. That sucker is going to get painted up like the crab in Moana, and it's going to be shiny.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my
Yes.
God. I would love to see that.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
Have I seen the Tarrasque model from Whiskey? I saw that a while ago, yes. Yep. That was on my
Is that one
radar.
unpainted or is that one a painted one?
I believe it was a painted. I'm not going to say anything right now.
Okay. Because I know I've seen some stuff out there,
Yeah.
but I don't remember if there's an unpainted one.
I don't want to misremember something and say more than I ought to, or
Hey, I
mislead
know that
on
feel.
product, and not sure if that's the case anymore.
That is completely fair.
Yeah.
We got more time gate questions. Joan of Arc wants to know, should I get Stokey or Cathris? I already have my third option, and I don't need any characters in any more slots for split the party stuff. Ooh, I would go Cathris, because Stokey is fun, but I think Cathris is a more versatile support and a more powerful support. And especially since you can, if you get Cathris and then you get Dinar and then you get Walnut and then you get
That's
Rosie,
lovely.
and now you've got the whole set. So I'd go Cathris. Whenever these happen, I always want to take a second and like go back into the chat and see what everybody else suggested and be like, did I suggest the same thing?
Did we all like go hive mind on it?
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, especially if you've got 3 in your time gate, but you are really only interested in 2 of them for any specific reason. Oftentimes there is like a clear winner, either because it's such a powerful champion, or often what I should say is someone usually gives they give a qualifier that is like, oh, then you definitely want this champion.
Right.
Oh, you need more in this slot. Oh, you're
Yeah.
looking for a DPS. Oh, you are, trying to get more Dragonborn because Dragonborn are awesome. Yeah, go for this one.
Yeah. If this, then that.
Yeah. Let me go grab a drink because it is at this point that I will say the other place that you can come to get your do I get A, B, or C questions answered is our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions.
Exactly.
Which is always an excellent place. And yes, on Fridays during a free time gate weekend does fill up with people going, here's my time gate, what do I get? And the nice thing about the Discord, we can do it a bit here. The nice thing about the Discord is they'll ask those questions. They'll be like, okay, well, do you need this or that?
Yeah.
Are you looking for more of this or that?
Yeah. I mean, people are super helpful of each other, which is lovely.
And once again, because there's no wrong answer, because the right answer is eventually you want all of them.
Yeah.
Then it's not like you can pick the wrong one, You are always going to win. Just one might be more effective than the others. I have black all over my fingertips. I am so covered in black paint. Strawberry Muddle says, I'm new to the game. First time doing time gates. Hey, welcome. Glad to have you.
Yes.
And I had a little thought. Can time gate pieces also drop while doing time gates? I think so, because time gate pieces drop on a timer, not to say time a lot. And so I don't think it matters what you're playing. I'm not 100% on that, but I think they will still drop because of the fact that you get a time gate piece every so often. So, but I might have to look that up later. And then the other question you had was also, I want to say the game is pretty cozy, but I'm super loving the community. Y'all have built such a lovely space. Aw, thank you. That is 100% our community manager and our moderators. They are amazing. And thank you. Billslowski002 asks, is there another wild offer sale going on now? I believe there's fun stuff going on with the wild offers, so keep your eyes open for fun things. All right, we did the Stokie or Cthulhu. Alan Kill wants to know, are all these minis to a certain scale, or does the scale vary per mini?
No, with WizKids, they try and keep it within parameters of a certain scale. So, this is the problem, because I have started looking at other miniature companies for funsies for myself. It's either 27 or 35. It falls in like that 27 to 28 millimeter S thing, I want to say. But they try to keep scale consistent within their miniatures. So mediums scale to mediums and larges to large, etc., etc.
So that you can do the exact thing that you did earlier, which is, hey, here's the Hellwasp. Hey, here's the medium-sized creature.
Hellwasp wing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is accurate to scale to each other.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, so yeah, not all mini companies are going to be, I wouldn't expect one company to make something to scale that is the same scale as another mini company, but I would imagine they're probably all relatively close.
Yeah, they keep within a similar window of each other.
Yeah. Also because if you're buying minis to put on a grid, to play on a grid, those grids are also, those are very precise, because those are all specific inches and centimeters, depending on if you're in hexes or boxes or whatever.
Exactly.
So keeping to that scale or close enough for Chaz is really important, or else you're going to put your mini down on the table and be like, this doesn't fit on my play mat.
TLDR, most TTRPG miniature companies keep the whole grid factor in mind when creating their miniatures for table play. Display is a different story. If you're getting miniatures for display purposes, that's where the scale will vary. Absolutely. So it depends on the purpose of the mini.
And it depends on if you have a porpoise mini.
I mean, there are porpoise minis.
I realized I forgot a side. I'm at that point in where I'm like, wait a second, did I actually paint that or am I just seeing through the wing?
That can be a thing too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
I'm
catch up.
glad we're not having to worry about this being like a thin layer of paint, because
No.
I'm taking the tact of, if I can't tell, I'm just going to paint it.
Yeah.
And if I end up painting it again, oh well.
Mm-hmm.
It is now a thicker vein, which is an uncomfortable thing to say. Paint. All right. Zelquix asks, I have none of Zorbu, Warden, or Vi. Leaning on Zorbu, already done split the party 1 and 2. That's a hard one. Okay, so Zorbu is an excellent DPS who is going to take work. If you're leaning towards Zorbu, then you probably already understand that Zorbu you just have to work on to increase their kills in order to make them super powerful. Like Dahani, like Black Viper, they get more powerful the more you use them, but they get super, super powerful. Warden is a really strong DPS who is just strong right away. And Warden being in another slot gives you a couple of other DPS options, especially Evil. Evil's always fun. And Vi is a really good speed champion. Speed and gold is super good as a speed and gold champion. So I guess in this case, the first question to ask yourself is, do you need DPS or speed and gold? Because if you want speed and gold more, you got to get Vi.
Yeah.
If you're needing a DPS, then it depends on, do you want a DPS who is going to be fairly, depending on the gear you have, are they going to be pretty good right away? Or are you okay with starting down the Zorbu path?
Yeah.
Also, Warden has some really good skins, and I personally just really like using Warden. I like their hex ability because they have just enough support in there, and where you can get some really fun combos. But it is
Warden,
hard.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Warden to me always felt like, or feels like a like if you're just getting into the game, feels like a good fit. Zorbu, if you've done it for a while, then yeah.
Yeah. But if you're okay with putting in the work, Zorbu is there for you, and Zorbu is super powerful. There's no denying that. Why are you being this way, Wing? Why are you being this way? Okay, I'll put you down. That's fine.
Wants to wing it.
Swidow says, essentially new player. Oh, hey, welcome. I'm so happy when we have new players who join us who are like, I'm going to talk about the game and watch people paint minis. Yay. Narak, Dungeon Master, or Cathris. Leaning DM for getting a slot 6 in addition to being useful. I mean, I would agree with that, especially if you're looking for more in that slot. And Dungeon Master is essentially you're not getting a second champion, but because one of their powers is they can just make another champion in your formation usable in a adventure variant, you're kind of getting a second champion for free. Cathris is a solid support. Narak is another one of those DPS that takes a little bit of work, but could also be really, really powerful. And I say that as the person who created Orkira, and if you need to know what Orkira stacking is, just ask. Not me. But yeah, I would go with Dungeon Master, I think. I think you're going to get a lot of really good use out of Dungeon Master, and also if you need in slot 6, then yeah, go for it. Go for slot 6.
Yeah. All right. Second wing is done. With the veining.
Awesome.
Now I have the smaller ones.
I'm finishing up on the smaller ones now, but I was good, and I didn't put a lot of paint on my plate because I'm like, oh, this is going to be like tiny little bits, but my paint is starting to dry out. So I think I need to add a little bit of water because it's starting to goop up a little bit.
Then yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, these shouldn't take as long because, smaller.
Yeah, but they're fiddly. They are super fiddly. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to add some water to this if I'm going to keep working on that. Bay Neon says, question, Lauren was telling us about other RPG systems she's played, so my question is to V. I've only seen you play D&D on streams. Do you play anything else? Ooh.
I have played Cypher. I have played... Oh, I always do this with its name. Begins with the R. Wait, Tommy? What is it? Crap. I always forget. I'm gonna remember once the stream is done. I'll remember. Yes, I have played other systems in the past. So yeah, I have done other things besides D&D. It's
Also,
just...
you've played Honey Heist before, right?
Yes, I've played Honey Heist, and things like that. Dang it. That's gonna bug me now that I can't remember it.
That's okay.
Yeah. Honestly, it comes down to the fact of time, my doing a lot, and not having time to really explore other gaming systems as I would like. So because I know D&D is in my mind and in my heart, yeah, you'll see me playing D&D more often. However, I do enjoy seeing other systems being put to use and being played, and I think it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't begrudge anyone who plays other tabletop games. I think it's fantastic to see a variety offered out there.
I've been a longtime video game fan. I've been playing video games since the days of Atari, and I'm so old. And I know there's a lot of that weird, I'm going to be a fan of one system and I'm going to defend that one system, and Xbox is better than PlayStation. PlayStation is better than Xbox, and blah, blah, blah. And I heard a podcast once say this. It was a while back, of like, despite the fact that money is an issue, buy all the consoles, play all the games.
Yeah.
Why limit yourself?
Exactly.
Like, they're just fun consoles. They're just fun ways of playing more fun games. And so, there's no reason to be, well, this is better than this for very arbitrary reasons because you've decided that one system is better than another. Right. And I've kind of pulled that over into the TTRPG space. That, like, yes, D&D is my favorite at the moment, at least, and for a while. And D&D is the one that I gravitate towards playing. But, like, play as much as you want. Try different things out. If you're having fun, you're doing it right. I don't get as much of a chance to play other things than D&D just because of the stuff that I've been doing is people look at me and go, oh yeah, she's a D&D person, which is fine because I am. So it is always a joy when someone's just like, hey, you want to be a vampire? I know you want to be a vampire.
Right?
Funny enough.
It might have been Numenera.
Numenera. There you go.
That's what it was. I think it was Sorry. I don't know why the N in my head turned into an R. It was Numenera.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, as excited as I am to play Vampire, the World of Darkness game I really, really want to play is Werewolf.
I hear good things about Werewolf, honestly.
I want to be a werewolf. I want to be a big puppy who kills people.
Big puppy. Oh my god.
I want to be the danger puppy.
I want to be a danger pup.
And that's mostly just because World of Darkness is World of Darkness. It's not supposed to be happy, fun, joy times. I'm playing in a one-shot, so there's probably a little less angst going on. But I get the sense from, like, the little bits of Werewolf that I've watched and seen that, like, is it happy, fun times in a werewolf game? No. But is it at least a little more people are happy? Yeah. It's a little easier to be happy when you're a puppy. See? All right. I know I'm a bit ahead of you, but I'm also at the point where if I do any more, I'm just going to be making more mess than anything.
That's too funny.
So I am nowhere near as precise, but I'm pretty happy with how this is looking.
Well, that's good, as long as you're happy, because again, it is your miniature.
Yeah, and I don't think I missed anything, but I'm gonna spend a moment and do the sideways look. Because. And then try not to get more black all over my fingers. It's the voice. It's the voice every single time.
Which voice do you want?
See, that's basically my that's my flump voice.
Oh, cute.
That's my flump voice, or this is my flump voice. but I can only do that so much.
I was gonna say that's got to be taxing after a while.
Yeah. I have to be prepared for it. I definitely have to. I have to be in the circular breathing mood in order to be thinking about doing a flump.
Yep.
Lightning Hawk says, Lauren, would you be a good werewolf or a bad werewolf? Werewolf the Apocalypse has options to play both good and evil. It would depend on the group that I'm playing with.
Yeah.
I would enjoy either in that setting. Like in D&D in general, I am the person who I want the heroic adventure. And so I play at least someone who is not evil. Like I'm okay with playing neutral or stuff, but I tend to lean in D&D terms towards at least wanting to go on the adventure and help people. I'm not necessarily an evil player, but that is because of the settings and the people that I like to play with. World of Darkness games are meant to be more gray area. They're meant to be more dark and difficult, and it is way more normal to have characters who are not good people. And so while my natural TTRPG inclination would be to play a good werewolf, as good as you can be in World of Darkness, I'd be totally okay with going evil, but it would depend on the group, because if you've got two diametrically opposed player characters like that, you have to do a lot of work with the other players to make sure that it isn't unwanted butting of heads. And so unless there's a really, really good reason, I would rather align with the alignment of the group so that we can all have fun together. And so if everybody's gonna be, hey, we're werewolves and we're just gonna slaughter everybody and no consequences are too great, then yeah, I'll go ahead and be an evil werewolf, because it'll be more fun. I'm all about playing with the group. I'm all about that interaction. And if that's the interaction everybody wants, give me my lines and veils and I'm here for it. But yeah, in D&D in general, I do tend to go more happy heroic fantasy. I'll be the selfish character, but in as far as, hey, we'll save the world, but what's in it for me? I'm not going to be the person who's trying to destroy the world. And I definitely am not the character who wants to fight the other PCs in the party. I am not in D&D. I'm not a fan of that. So, How about you, V? Have you played, not just in D&D or in any other system? Have you ever played evil?
I'm a Dark Lord.
I know, but I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I have. Honestly, I enjoy.
Voronika went on a journey, though.
No, not well.
I mean, whether she was good to begin with is questionable. She went on a journey. Anyway, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, it's more as DM, I very much enjoy getting a hold of what should be the evil characters, and giving them a twist so that the players are very much unsure of what to do. I did a campaign for Cobalt Press, The Last Heir. It was a two season series, and Baba Yaga was what was assumed the big bad evil. So she was constantly making appearances, and loved playing her. She had this very particular way of speaking, because she's got the iron jaws stuck in her mouth, so she has to make sure they stay in her mouth, because sometimes they disagree and they'll go flying out of her mouth. So did Baba Yaga, and the players, half of them loved her, the other half did not trust her and didn't know what to do with her. And it was a fun dynamic. It was a really fun dynamic, and I'm not going to spoiler it and let you know how it ended, but I definitely played her as a big old question mark. Was she evil? Sure. But was she relatable? Very much so. So no, I do love taking what should be dubbed evil and just blurring lines, which is also what I did with Voronika.
And there is something to be said, like we're talking evil in very broad strokes, and I think both of us are talking about there's evil in the mustache twirling, I'm going to slaughter puppies kind of, I am essentially a monster. I am not actually a person you can talk to. I am a monster.
Right.
I am just here for chaos. And then there's selfish evil or understandable evil. There are, we are all familiar with the archetype of anti-heroes or villains who you understand why you understand their viewpoint, you just disagree with their methods. And those are very interesting villains. And those can be interesting players to play. But like I said, it depends on the game that you're playing and the other players that you are with, because it can cause a lot of bad tension. It can cause tension between players when all you want is tension between characters.
Right. I mean, the funny thing is when I was in Black Dice, but when I would do episodes with the crew at Black Dice, like I knew it was coming. B. Dave knew it was coming. We've known it's been coming for a while before, what happens at the end of season 1. And afterwards, I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry to the fellow players. It's like,
but that is a game in where people knew what they were getting into with the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you are all very careful about not just lines and veils, but keeping that kind of communication open, because it is a horror game. And,
it is.
It's one of those things in where you can still be terrified even though the roller coaster has been deemed safe to ride on. And so that kind of thing is because I've also been in games and where we've had a betrayal. And it doesn't matter how much intellectually the characters are mad. I am not mad. I think this is awesome. And yet it is very natural to have that moment of, but you tricked me. You're supposed to be my friend, bleed as they call it. And so just being aware of that and,
it's important.
It is super important.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm on the last wing, y'all.
Yay! No, hey, take your time. These are fiddly wings.
They are.
And yeah. And I've been spending this whole time that we've been talking going back and being like, well, I said I was done, but then I'm going to look at this bit and I'm like, now that I've looked at it from this angle, let me just go back and do a little bit more and
fix it.
Yeah, fixing or places in where it just wasn't thick is the wrong word, but like I can see through bits where other places I can't. Yeah. Consistency, that is an appropriate word. I'm looking for consistency and I find places in where I was not.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
I went fast.
Well, no, it's just because it's also like in terms of like painting the transparent plastic, that definitely happens.
Yeah, it is sometimes hard to see, especially when it's still wet. Like now that some of these pieces are dry, it's a little easier for me to do this and to look at it under the light and go like, oh yeah, I can. That is not as thick as I wanted it to be. Let me just go back and add a little bit more.
Shift that around.
I just looked over at chat and they're talking about evil turnips and I don't know why.
That is an interesting.
I've missed statement. Evil turnips actually don't rate very high on the evil scale, says evil turnip. I mean, if evil turnip says that, I would trust.
You gotta believe evil turnip.
Absolutely. Who knows better than a turnip if they're evil than a turnip?
Agreed.
I love looking over chat every once in a while and being like, what are you talking about?
And I want in.
What happened? What happened while I was gone? What happened to you? This is what happened that one time where everybody decided to make a Magic the Gathering deck for me, and I looked over and they were already picking cards and stuff. I'm like, wait, funny. What? What's going on?
A thing has happened.
It's like, okay, I have a variety of Forgotten Realms cards, and I know nothing about Magic, but tell me about this deck that you've built for me. I'm all in. I'm all in on this thing.
I have nightmares about painting wings tonight. That has happened.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's like there have been times like I go to sleep and I dream about the mini I've been painting, and oh my goodness.
I've yet to have a mini painting dream or a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yet. 30 episodes in, not yet, but I'm sure it'll happen.
Oh yeah.
It is bound to happen.
Yeah.
Are all of your mini painting dreams nightmares, or do you have good ones?
I think
Like
that the
happy
nightmare
mini
based.
painting.
I think that the nightmare based.
Aww. We gotta get you some good dreams, like the
Right.
relaxing ones.
Well, I think that's just it, because in reality, more often than not, I find them relaxing. But like sometimes, like you'll get a commission and it's not quite coming out as you want, so then you get the anxiety built into that. So it's kind of like, when you have that exam at school and you didn't study, those types of dreams.
Well, and there's mini painting for fun, and then there's mini painting for a job,
Yeah,
and so
it's different. It's very different.
Yeah, I could totally see the job aspect becoming the thing that's like, well, now there's stress.
Yeah.
Now there is stress.
Yeah, because it's, and yes, I say it, and I will continue to say it, you can always start over and strip the mini, etc., etc. But it's also one of those things where, you send progress shots and yeah, great. And then you'll get to a certain point and you're like, okay, if I continue, there's no return. So that's always like where you get anxious. It's like, okay, well, I just told him like, this is sort of like, we're getting to the end of things. Are you sure you're okay with it? And, inevitably have the dream where it's like they wanted it changed entirely. They came up with a whole new concept, et cetera, et cetera. So it's dreams like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, we have more time gate questions. Wisteria04, question, new player. Hey, welcome. Welcome to our mini painting stream as I answer questions about time gates. Need some advice for my first time gate. I have 2 champions in both slots. All right, this is good to know. So we got Narak, Vlanya, and Desmond. I'm gonna go Desmond right away. I'm gonna go Desmond partially because Black Dice Society champions have been coming out, and so Desmond is rolling along with the new Black Dice Society champions. But Desmond has Desmond's just an overall really good support, but Desmond also has a really interesting mechanic that helps out a lot in formations where you are missing spots. There is a item in the way, or there's if you have a champion that's been removed, in where Desmond actually helps when that happens. And that is really powerful because there are a lot of adventures and variants where that's part of the thing that makes the variant difficult, is you've suddenly lost a whole swath of formation positions. So I think of the 3, because Vlanya is a solid support, and Narak is a really good DPS, but there are other solid supports in DPS out there. Desmond does this really unique thing. Also, Desmond likes snacks and gave Orkira pocket brisket and liked my marshmallows, and so you have to get Desmond, because getting Desmond is the next best thing, because snack pack. But specifically for in-game reasons, it's that power that Desmond has. The Lurking Writer says, are we allowed to talk about Court of the Raven Queen yet, or is it still considered too soon in terms of spoilers? You know what? I need to look at a calendar.
Like 3 months.
It has been a while. I respect the being cautious before we go into spoilers, though. I 100%. Okay, so the finale of Idle Champions Presents was March 21st. So it has been almost 3 months. I'm gonna say, if you have a question or if you want to talk about it, I would ask chat first, because here's the thing. I'm okay with talking about it for obvious reasons. But just kind of put it out there into chat and go, hey chat, is it okay? And that way, if someone is like, hey, no, I'm still watching it, or I haven't caught up on that yet, then and I think that's the best. But I do also see that you said, I just wanted to say kudos to V for her role in that entire production, which I would agree with. V had 2 roles. I only had to do one thing. I had to heal people. V did 2 things. V was the production the back end of the production with a couple other people, but V did a lot of the hardcore organizing back end stuff. And then, spoilers, V also appeared in the game. So
I was, the voice of reason, darling, of course.
the funny thing about that moment,
your faces.
So it was a fun moment because Lauren knows who Voronika is, because Lauren is a fan of Black Dice Society.
Yeah.
Orkira has no idea.
Right.
And so all Orkira knows is spooky lady showed up but seemed to actually want to help us, I guess. But Desmond and Tatiana are really conflicted. And so I don't know what to think. And now all Orkira knows is spooky lady showed up and gave Desmond and Tatiana really powerful magic items and helped us defeat the Raven Queen. So spooky lady is probably good in my book. At least until she does something I'm going to be upset by. So,
but that's what I love about Voronika will keep you guessing.
Yeah, and Orkira is kind of used to that, but she's also gotten to the point in her life where she's given up trying to second guess because she is not in the position in order to do that. So at the moment, yeah, Voronika helped. So yeah, sure, okay. But yeah, that was an interesting acting moment of like, oh, this part of my brain is going one way, and this part of my brain is going another.
Well, plus it doesn't help that you'll hear me say, it's like, hey, if you hear my voice, then something is up and you need to listen.
It was a moment of surprise as Lauren, because so that was the other part of the production that none of you would have known about, is one of V's 3 billion jobs during Court of the Raven Queen was if something production-wise went wrong, Twitch died, too many people lost internet, we lost our connection to something that needed to be taken care of right away. We needed to like stop playing and hold for a moment. She said she would speak up, and you at home would not hear her, but that we would hear her, and that was like the quickest way to go about things. And so when you first started to talk, we all did have the moment of, oh crap, and then had to turn that into oh crap in the right ways.
Yes.
So that was a fun moment.
Yeah. It was also B-Dave being B-Dave as DM and be like, hey, you're coming in as Voronika. I'm like, okay.
I need to know, when he told you that was your answer, I'm not dressed.
I said, you mean the voice, right? Because I'm on the East Coast. ICP happens later on, and for me, like, we're wrapping up around 10:30 at night my time. So there are nights where I will be in my jammies.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't expect to be on screen, not only is I am not dressed for being on camera, but more so, I am not in, like, if you haven't seen Black Dice Society, a lot of those characters do some form of cosplay, and you've done some amazing stuff as Voronika, and it would be a little weird if you showed up as Voronika in, like, jeans and a t-shirt.
Right. Because like, I could whip the crown out, so, I can't make this crown at all times.
Just be like a casual Nika. Casual Nika.
It's my day off. It's my weekend. I have a barbecue to go to. This is why I'm dressed down.
I would play with your minds a little bit more, but really, I've got like
I'm
4
just
more
here for the potato salad.
I've got 4 more seasons of Real Housewife that I want to take care of. So here, have some magic items. Go away. Save world.
You're being very cute and endearing. Go for it. If you need me, just holler. I'll hear you. How? Doesn't matter. Just do it.
And then, yes, Lurking Right is talking about Mark Muir being on a boat and getting room service. Poor Mark.
Oh, God. That was
that moment with the room service.
That was a riot. Also, the signal issues was not so much the riot, but at least we got that figured out. I'm
glad that we were able to get that figured out, because I have been on both sides of that. And it doesn't matter how much you know intellectually that there's nothing you can do sometimes when the internet is the internet.
Exactly.
And no one blames you. No. And if you're playing with professionals, we'll work it out. It'll be okay. No one blames you, and we'll keep going. Exactly. Knowing all of that does not stop the panic of, oh crap, I'm supposed to be on stream doing a thing. I'm supposed to be. So I felt super bad for Mark.
thankfully we worked it out where it's like, hey, call in with your phone, and that should be the most stable connection. And thankfully it worked, and quickly got the champion portrait, the console
The
portrait up
picture,
there.
yeah.
And that helped. So.
Oh yeah, and then once we could hear him, that was
better,
the
yeah.
most important part, I would say. Like, it would have been. He is such an emotive actor, and I will say,
Right.
Rex Verity is absolutely correct. Mark is a treasure and a total pro.
Mhm.
So it sucked that we couldn't see him, but to be able to at least have him to interact with was key. So, but it was also funny that when room service showed up, because that's totally Baloth. Baloth would absolutely order room service in the Shadowfell. And room service would show up for Baloth, and you don't know how. It'd be Puff, and they'd be there.
Right. Mr. Baloth! Mr. Baloth!
I have your dinner, Mr. Baloth!
Mr. Baloth! God.
But yes, if anyone has any other Court of the Raven Queen questions, we are always happy to talk about that. It's been a while since we've talked about that.
I know, right?
But I will, it looks like you're about done, actually.
I'm almost there. I ran out of black paint, and I just need to get the back part of this wing.
Well, then I will go through a couple more questions here. The Fragile says, for Timegate, Dadius, Shandy, or Vi?
Not me.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing numbers and stuff. 4 to 6 got, 6 got. I'm gonna say Shandy or Vi. Yeah, both of those are really, really good. So kind of depends on what slot is going to be better for you, because both of those are really solid speed and gold find champions. And I think if you want a little more boosting with damage, go for Shandy, because there's a specialization you can go into a Shandy where she buffs damage for people nearby, where Vi is pretty much, am I making people go faster, or am I giving you more gold? Yeah. But if you were saying you have both Shandy and the Fragile says, by got, I mean I have them. Oh, if you don't have Dadius, go for Dadius. So that's going to be my suggestion across the board. If you get a time gate, a free time gate, and you don't have one of the three, always go for the one you're missing. It is always worth it to increase your roster. So I will change my answer and say Dadius.
There you go.
Do you have a thing to actually mount wings on? Is that what I just saw?
Me? No.
Yeah.
Oh, this? No, it's just the packaging.
Oh.
I just took the blister and popped it on top of the blister.
It totally looked from my angle like you had a special thing to slot the wings in and be like, and now you will dry, and now you will dry.
Nope, I just repurposed what should be trash.
I mean, that's super smart. That's better than I'm just going to lay them down on the paper towel.
I didn't even think to mention it. Okay, so now we're going to go to Orange Fire.
Orange Fire!
Yes. And what we're going to do is, you see how those little orange spots that happen on the wings?
Oh, we're staying on the wings. Okay.
We're staying on the wings, because at this point, by the time I'm getting to my first wing, that wing is dry. So we're going to go in and we're going to paint these fun little... Hold on. That one. See how there's like the orange dots on the wings? We're just going to go through and just start putting some orange spots on the wings.
All right.
So thin coat, doesn't have to be thick at all. With Orange Fire.
Orange Fire. And probably still a tiny brush.
Yeah, a little brush will be the trick here.
I'm actually going to watch as you do this for a little bit.
Sure.
Because this is super painting outside the lines, and I am excited.
This is free-handed.
What?
Nothing. Just people like free-handed.
Oh,
no, that's not
ooh,
right.
Freehand.
Freehand.
And I'm free-handed.
We're not friends at all.
We don't have fun with each other now.
No.
All right, I'm gonna watch this for a little bit because I'm
taking a little dot of L'Orange, just doing bloops.
Oh, you mean really, really
little
small?
Baby
okay.
bloops.
And are you doing it all over the wing, or are you staying to one side?
I am doing all over the wing, both sides.
All right. Both
and
sides,
you can make
all
some
over.
even a little bit bigger if you want to. I get a
Larger
dot.
bloops?
Yep, a larger bloop in. Larger bloops are acceptable. But it's basically just, having fun and bloopity bloops. And honestly, even if they aren't perfect dots, that's a good thing. Because you want them to be kind of like wiggly squigglies in some cases.
Is that the technical term, wiggly squigglies?
Completely wiggly squigglies. You can quote me on it. Quote me. No, watch, someone's gonna clip me.
I mean, that's okay. It is still an accurate term.
It is.
This is definitely making it look a little butterfly-ish, but I like it.
Yeah, it's because if you look in the wings, they have those details, but then it gets muted with the overtone. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So that's why we're gonna put these on first before we do any type of wash. Because if we do this after the wash, it's going to be very bright and garish, and I don't want that. We want this to be more of a subtle orange that's picked up underneath the main coloring, which will be the washes, quite frankly. So yeah, just gonna go through and
dot.
Remember how I said it helps to have a darker color? Ooh, I have the feather. Hold on.
There you go.
Look it, my feather came in handy.
Yeah. That is super cool.
That was not intentional. I was showing Lauren the pretty feather I found on my walk. I found
Chat.
a pretty thing.
It is. No, it's I like the I've forgotten the term for it. The coloration that's on the feather.
Iridescence.
Iridescence. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I totally forgot the word iridescence. It's amazing sometimes the word that your brain just says, you don't need to know this anymore. Now
here's the fun thing. Because this is see-through, when you go to the other side, you just mimic over what you did on the other side.
So I totally started doing different dots.
Can do, if you want to do different dots, you can.
Nope. Now that I thought about it, now that you said it, I'm like, no, that totally makes sense. Why would I could do the same dots, but that's okay because I just started. So that's what water and panicked wiping are
just,
for.
You can also go back over and back and forth it if you wanted to.
That's true, but I literally got 3 dots in when you said that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna make those couple dots go away. Because as soon as you said that, I went, that's what I want. That makes way more sense.
Yeah.
See, this is why you are the teacher and I am the student.
Yes, but at some point you're gonna have your final.
Yeah, we still have to talk about that. I think we have talked about a couple of options, and I'm here for all of it. But yeah.
I mean, we're talking about you and Trevor could do something when I'm up in Victoria for Game Jam.
Yeah, I don't know if that one specifically will happen, but I do like the idea that we've come up with in general, and so
it bit me. No, I squeezed a little bit too hard. No, the wingtip.
Oh,
I stabbed into myself accidentally.
Yeah, the end of it is
pointies,
sharp.
Pointies.
It's like it's a dangerous Hellwasp
creature of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said what you said because
it's
I like doing the mirror.
Yeah.
A little bit more. I like how it looks more now that I'm doing it, and also it, in a weird way, it makes this faster because now the other side, I don't have to think about where to put dots.
Exactly it. It goes into autopilot mode for you. Like a bigger swoosh.
Yay! Oop. Yeah, it's not going to come out too well on my camera, but they're there.
I believe you.
Meanwhile, the Mole's Revenge wants to know, time gate question, Narak, Spurt, or Yorvin already have the +2 charisma in each slot. I mean, Spurt is so good, but I really like... So here's the thing. I think Yorvin is awesome. I think Yorvin is an amazing character, and I love using them as a DPS. I almost never get the chance to.
Yeah.
Just because of where they are and what they are eligible for. But I think they're so fun to use. And now that they can look like a kobold, it's just amazing. All 3 are good. I'm going to go Spurt. Unless you really, really need DPS, in which case Narak or Yorvin are going to be good. But Spurt is just fun. And is Spurt, and they are their buffs that they give as a support character are super fun.
Yeah. Plus, there's the Beekeeper skin that's adorable.
There is that too. Like a new skin just came out for Spurt.
I'm going on cuteness. Sorry. Not sorry.
Don't be sorry. This is a legitimate strategy. Yeah. We've talked about this before. Skins. Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, I collect characters in this game based on the fact that if I'm not trying to collect them all, I collect or use them based on the fact that they are friends of mine.
Yep.
Or they're kobolds. Or, you know, stuff like that. So whatever reasoning, if it brings you joy, there you go.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a more tough choice with all three of those. But I'm gonna say Spurt. ...
Yes, ... Exactly. ... on the wings.
Yep. Oh, no. I'm just trying desperately not to smudge the wings now.
Oh, no.
I'm putting dots on them. Because, you know, they're dots. They shouldn't be smudges.
Splotches. They'll just turn into splotches.
Yeah. I mean, it is a Hellwasp, so it will probably not be the most fashionable, so it probably messed up its makeup.
There you go.
Or its makeup was just smeared.
It just didn't bother to wash its makeup off from last night.
Yeah. Perfectly Jerky asks, if I'm in the middle of a campaign, can I do the free play time gates and come back to where I was? No. If you are currently in an adventure and you decide to do a time gate, that's going to become what that formation is doing. So you'll essentially have to end one to start the other. Yeah. So if you only have one adventuring party and you are in the middle of something, wait until you are done. This is one of the reasons why time gates last for an entire weekend, so that if you are in the middle of something else, you can take that moment and finish up. So that way you don't get caught. Everybody kind of is immediately thinking about time gates as soon as they go live on a Friday, but if you're in the middle of something, don't feel like you got to stop.
Yeah, exactly. All in good time.
Yeah. But I do know a lot of people like to jump on those time gates immediately.
Right away.
And it does become a lot easier when you have more parties available. Mm-hmm. So you can set aside a party and be like, Fridays, this becomes my time gate party.
Exactly.
Dot.
Dot. Dot.
Dot.
Dot. Dot.
Dot. Dot.
Dot. Dot. Dot. Dot.
See, this is why the Hellwasp was going to take
a couple episodes, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot going on with this Hellwasp.
We may shift into 3. It's funny, we were talking about it beforehand. This might be a 3 episode. I didn't expect the veins to take so long.
I am totally here for it. There's no reason to hurry.
Listen.
All right, Wing, here we go. One more.
Yep.
You Tomatoed just got back from a meeting and wants to know, is there a wild offer storm happening? I believe there's some fun wild offer stuff happening. Yes. Rathmore TV says, ain't no party like a time gate party. Because the time gate party lasts a weekend.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to use the... So you can see, that's what I've done for splotches and dots and stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, just had some fun with it.
The more I do this, the more I'm actually going for larger dots.
Yeah, I did like
I don't know
mix.
why. Yeah, I should do more of a mix, but I'm just kind of liking the big dots.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong to it. It's whatever's... Ouch. Stop attacking me. It's whatever speaks to you.
Sorry. I should not be laughing when you were attacked by a wing.
It's okay. I'll live.
I mean, we just got done with that Remoraz. We should not have to worry about being attacked by our mini for at least a little while.
God. Mom.
I tried to pick the Remoraz up the other day in order to take some pictures of it, and it immediately poked me.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep. When the minis get feisty.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah, I reorganized my mini shelves so that it was a little easier to
Nice.
show
Oh,
them
that's
off,
good.
and then immediately got poked by all the minis because.
It's a thing.
Ooh,
Okay, so I think we might actually get to doing a little bit of whooshing.
a little bit of whooshing.
Washing, yes, whooshing.
It totally sounded like whooshing. I'm like,
Some whooshing. Whoosh.
this is a new technique I'm excited for.
Right.
The whooshing.
The whoosh.
So is today just a wing day? Is today?
I think it's gonna be a wing day. Yep.
All right.
So what I'm looking at my notes and I'm looking at the picture and I'm reevaluating, but I think I'm fine. Okay. Where did I put my washes? There they are.
I like that song. I'm on the last side of the last wing.
Awesome. So I'm gonna start with Drakenhof. Provided it doesn't spit on me. But you want to do more of the bright and fiery. So
yes.
What I'm going to do in Drakenhof, I want you to do in the Karlberg Crimson.
Where are you? Karlberg Crimson. There you are. And for those that do not have any of these warshes, what would they use what paint would they use to make these warshes?
To be honest, when it comes to these transparent things, I'm going to suggest you instead do a dry brush with a blue metallic or a red metallic. This is not something where you can take a mix it yourself type of wash because of the way that would look on the transparent plastic. It wouldn't look as good. That's where when you do have your transparent things, it helps to invest in having inks and or washes.
Good to know.
There are just some things where it doesn't quite have the same result with a DIY wash. So I'm just going to start putting streaks of Drakenhof down towards the base area where the veins are. And just pulling it down.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And are you going to do the whole wing with that?
Whole wing like that, yep. So as we get closer to the veins, that's where I'm going to focus the darker color wash, basically, is what I'm doing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Which is why we were talking about two different washes. And for me, since I'm going for the brighter wing, same thing.
Do that with the Karlberg. You put the Karlberg closer to your edging where the veins are, as opposed to the
all over.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm starting with the Karlberg Crimson.
Yeah.
I think this is actually the first time I've used this wash because it was very hard to open up.
Haven't we used it for the Myconids, I thought?
Oh, maybe, which would have been the first things we did, which have been
a while back, yeah.
A while back, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we also getting this on the veins or just close?
If it gets on the veins, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it's black. It's just going to take on maybe a bluish tinge. So I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, you just kind of want this to start staining. And I'm going to do one side and then flip over to the other side for each of these.
All right.
And to be honest, if you want a really intense color difference, go to your inks. Inks are fantastic if you like really impactful coloring. But in this case, because I want to have some fun layering the colors a little bit, washes will work.
Yeah, I want the brighter colors, but I'm not necessarily looking for more intense. So I'm having fun using dwarshes.
There you go. Good.
Oh, it just happened.
What?
We had the moment of zen. And when you're talking about edging around the veins, would you also edge around the edge of the wing?
This edge, you mean?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, leave that open.
Leaving it open.
Good question.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to try to come up with good questions and try not to spill things.
That's valid.
Rathmore TV says, I think the Hellwasp is speaking via stabbing in Morse code. I mean, maybe. It wouldn't surprise me if through pain, that's how it was trying to communicate. Yeah. That's what a Hellwasp would do.
Right. Now, I will point out here when it comes to assembling, this is one slight minor complaint that makes me nuts when this happens. There are numbers that are put on. So you can see this is left wing 2. So you know this goes on the left side. Which, if you wanted to, you could try and use an emery board to take that down a little bit. Though sometimes I find that compromises the transparency of the plastic.
Yeah.
So I leave that up to whoever decides they too want to paint, what they want to do about those letterings and numberings.
Yeah, I feel like it's faint enough that I'm not going to be too worried about it.
Yeah.
Especially since it's at the base of each of these wings, and so it'll be pretty easy to hide.
Yeah.
So at least they put it in a decent spot to keep
not
hidden.
Fully conspicuous.
And while I could completely understand why one would be annoyed by that, because it's a compromise of the artistry of the wing. As someone who would probably put the wings in backwards, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the hey.
Can see it for factory purposes too, to make sure they're putting in all the correct wings.
Yeah, definitely. So you don't end up with three left wings.
Yeah, which wing is which?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just got the one side's all done. I'm gonna flip it over. Do the same thing, actually. Rotate. There we go. And do the same thing on the other side.
Other side. I'm just checking in on a couple of things.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if you do have any other questions, now is the time to get them in, because we only have about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next week we will obviously be doing more of our lovely Hellwasp.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be having more fun. And then we will be off for a week after that. Or no.
Yes.
Is that the week we're
Yeah, because after we stream on Friday next week, I need to get packed.
Yeah, that's true, because V is going to be out of town, and so that's why we were like, maybe that'll be the week that we do our midterm exams, but I think that'll have to happen at a later time, which is okay. So we're going to do Hellwasp this week, Hellwasp next week. Depending on how far we get next week, we might do Hellwasp again.
There you go. It's like a movie series. Hellwasp 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly. You were excited about Hellwasp 1 and 2, and now from the same creators of Hellwasps 1 and 2, here comes part 3, the returning.
The wasps are back for more.
You'll get the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Right?
Sorry.
One sting is not enough.
But if we do finish the sorry, I went into announcer, you only need the edge, and then my throat was like, what are you doing?
What are we playing with here?
You haven't warmed up that voice yet. Stop that. So if we do finish the Hellwasp, I believe the next thing we are doing is that mimic, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. We have a fun mimic coming. I know you are at home. You're saying, wait a second. Didn't you already do a mimic? Yes, we did.
We did, but
there's another one coming.
It's bigger. I don't know if I'd say better, but it's bigger.
Yeah, I wouldn't say better, mostly because I think the mimics we've already done are amazing.
Exactly.
It is a bigger, different mimic, and we are excited. But if we need more time with the Hellwasp, we'll take a little bit more time, and we will move special edition mimic to another day. But we'll keep you updated. I have both hands. Hold on a second. I won't talk about the Discord until I've finished this wing. And so I can put it down. I could go the discord.gg/idlechampions, where we have an entire channel dedicated to Paint and Slay, where all of the pinned, it's not tweets, all the pinned bits on the Discord in that channel are, hey, here's what you need if you would like to paint along with us.
Exactly. Let's see here.
All right, back to the swing, because I got one side done and then I had to stop and take the obligatory swig of water because I talked about the Discord. Yeah, other places have, the hydration bot. And we just have, every once in a while, Lauren talks about the Discord and then is reminded that she needs to drink water.
Yep. So I just did a second layer of the Drakenhof on the one side that's starting to dry already, and you can see that definitely amps it up. So I'm going to do 2 coats of the Drakenhof on the wings.
Ooh,
it does make a difference. Just make sure you are waiting for that to be pretty much dry before you do. Otherwise, you're just going to pull the color off of itself.
I will go back and take a look at the my Carroburg Crimson once I get this wing done, because I was doing front and back of wings.
Okay.
Which means my thumb is now covered in wash, but I'm okay with it.
There you go.
I'm okay with it.
That definitely amps it up a little bit more. So I'm gonna do that again.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing about the washes.
Yeah, you can build for sure.
Yeah, because that's. I don't think we actually use the washes on the Myconids, because I don't, or at least I didn't, because I don't think I had
walked
any
you
washes.
through with mixes, but I used the washes. So
that probably makes sense, because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't have any washes.
So then yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. But you know what? That's half the fun.
Exactly.
Evil Turnip Tea. I missed most of the announcement yesterday, but I'm looking forward to your one-shot stream next week. Aw, thank you. The blog says that the game, quote, will cap off a full day of streaming celebrating Amani. Are other shows getting replaced with special things next week too, or just the sketching hour? So most of the day is actually pretty much the same. It's just we're doing fun things. I think the one major change is and it's not finalized yet, so do not hold me to this, because we will be putting out the schedule next week. But Omega Jones, also known as the Critical Bard, was on Idle Insights yesterday talking about Amani and, you know, other fun things that they do. And I believe that interview will be rebroadcast as part of the Amani celebration. So definitely come on by if you missed that interview. It's really, really fun.
Yeah. Good things, good times, good people.
Yeah, but the D&D game is probably the biggest thing, the biggest change. So yeah, no sketching hour next week. For those who were with me on the sketching hour on Wednesday and heard us say, hey, we're not going to be here this week, but we can't tell you why. Now you know, because the announcement for why wasn't happening until the day after. So sorry we had to be a little bit vague about that, but that's what happens.
Sorry to be cryptic.
Yeah, because we didn't want to not tell you we weren't going to be there, but it was we couldn't tell you why we were not going to be there.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think now that I look at the first wing that I did, I'm gonna go back with a second layer of this wash.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
Spin.
Especially with the red.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game, like, it's not often that we have. You know, I was going to say it's not often that we have one-shots, but we're doing more and more of them. So maybe I am not correct. They are not a weekly occurrence. And that is why that is kind of an extra special thing.
Okay, so and I've done the wash on all 6 of the wings. Good Lord, woman. No, 4 of the wings.
It just feels like 6.
I want wings.
Helen, you deserve wings.
I'm
Helen,
a
you're lovely.
fairy.
You deserve wings.
I want the wings.
We'll get you some wings. I don't know
Okay.
how we're gonna get you wings.
Yeah, right.
But we'll get you some wings.
I'm gonna have to try and figure out a costume for her for Halloween.
Well, apparently she's going to the Witchlight Carnival, and we'll get her some wings.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that. I could get like the little floral butterflies that you can buy for floral arrangements and just snip those off and give Helen wings. I'll make her like a little harness. What do you think?
That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do for Halloween. Is we're just gonna give all of our minis wings.
I'll be a butterfly.
You're gonna be the most pretty butterfly, Helen.
Monarch of the carnival.
I just want it to paint a unicorn. That's what I want to do. I want to paint.
I think there is a unicorn.
I want a God, what was it that Desmond asked for? The celestial unicorn?
Yep.
I want a celestial unicorn paint for Halloween.
Okay, but let's mark that because there is a unicorn, I believe. Kickstarter for Helen's wings. I just saw that in the chat.
That will be the quickest Kickstarter. It'll be like, hi, we're starting a Kickstarter for Helen's wings. We're going to be here for $3.
Yes,
Who
exactly.
would like to support
I just
us
need 2 coffees and I'm good.
You know what? Yeah, $12 to cover the wings and a couple coffees.
Yep.
It's like, and we've met our goal. Fastest Kickstarter goal ever. Yay.
I will see if I can find some wings for Helen, though. That would be kind of adorable to give Helen wings so she can be next to her Hellwasp friend.
Yeah.
And they can wing it up together.
Aww.
I love Helen.
You know, I would complain about the puns, except we just put out the we just put out the blog,
Yeah.
the Champion Spotlight for Merylwyn,
Yeah.
and I will say there's not a ton of puns. It starts off with a couple puns. I didn't go wild with puns,
Uh-huh.
and but when I did write that, I had to put some puns in there, and immediately because obviously when you write things, you want people to proofread and you want to get
yeah.
second opinions on stuff. And our lovely designer Pete is one of the people who helps me with that. And he was like, "This is going to take a little bit longer because I have to suffer through these puns." I'm like, "Yes, I have done my job.
Victory!
I have captured the essence of Merylwyn. Yay!"
Amazing.
But no, it is not completely pun filled.
No.
All right, I'm finishing up this last
Yes.
wing, but we got to finish up for the day.
That's just, and honestly, we need this layer to dry completely before we do the next layer of washes to make sure that it doesn't start fighting with itself a little bit too much, and then we're just ending up with this muddy color. So we're gonna let this dry, and then next thing we'll do is we'll do the next round of wash on the wings, let it dry, and then we'll start painting the body.
Hey, it'll be body time.
It'll be body time. There's a lot of detail happening here.
Absolutely.
For sure. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got done today. The wings.
And I got my
nice.
my brighter reddish Carolberg crimson, but yeah, we are done. Stick around because Garwar's Guide to Everything is after us. And have fun on your Timegate weekends. And anything else we need to remember to say? I can't remember. Oh, thank you to Martin for being our wonderful, wonderful moderator and grabbing all these questions from chat. It was super helpful. And you were about to say something, V, and I totally cut you off.
You did it. I was going to say, yes, Martin.
Okay, good. At least if I was going to be rude, I was going to be rude in the right way. But yes, thank you to Martin. Thank you as always to V for letting me be rude in front of her, even though she's teaching me how to do all these wonderful things with minis. And have fun with Garwar's Guide to Everything and have a good weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!